Mystery creates wonder, and wonder is the basis of man's desire to understand. Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Fear is not an unknown emotion to us. There can be no great accomplishment without risk. That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind. I believe every human has a finite number of heartbeats. I don't intend to waste any of mine. Research is creating new knowledge. It suddenly struck me that that tiny pea, pretty and blue, was the Earth. I put up my thumb and shut one eye, and my thumb blotted out the planet Earth. I didn't feel like a giant. I felt very, very small. Shoot for the stars, but if you happen to miss, shoot for the moon instead. It's a brilliant surface in that sunlight. The horizon seems quite close to you because the curvature is so much more pronounced than here on Earth. It's an interesting place to be. I recommend it. Here men from the planet Earth first set foot upon the moon. July 1969 AD. We came in peace for all mankind. I can honestly say, and it's a big surprise to me, that I have never had a dream about being on the moon. I think we're going to the moon because it's in the nature of the human being to face challenges. It's by the nature of his deep inner soul. We're required to do these things just as salmon swim upstream. In much of society, research means to investigate something you do not know or understand. We had hundreds of thousands of people all dedicated to doing the perfect job, and I think they did about as well as anyone could ever have expected. History is a sequence of random events and unpredictable choices, which is why the future is so difficult to foresee. I really did it. I blew the first words on the moon, didn't I? The regret on our side is, they used to say years ago, "We are reading about you in science class." Now they say, "We are reading about you in history class." Well, I think we tried very hard not to be overconfident, because when you get overconfident, that's when something snaps up and bites you. Opportunities will be available to you that you cannot imagine. A picture does a great job, but it's not nearly like being there. I think if there was anything I learned from our skipper was that it's not how you look, it's how you perform. I didn't feel like a giant. I felt very, very small. I guess we all like to be recognized not for one piece of fireworks, but for the ledger of our daily work. I believe that every human has a finite number of heartbeats. I don't intend to waste any of mine running around doing exercises. Science has not yet mastered prophecy. We predict too much for the next year and yet far too little for the next 10. The important achievement of Apollo was demonstrating that humanity is not forever chained to this planet, and our visions go rather further than that, and our opportunities are unlimited. I put up my thumb and it blotted out the planet Earth. I fully expected that, by the end of the century, we would have achieved substantially more than we actually did. Well, I think we tried very hard not to be overconfident, because when you get overconfident, that's when something snaps up and bites you. It's different, but it's very pretty out here. I suppose they are going to make a big deal of all this. You've got to expect things are going to go wrong. And we always need to prepare ourselves for handling the unexpected. Gliders, sailplanes, they're wonderful flying machines. It's the closest you can come to being a bird. If you don't know who you are, a university is an expensive place to find out. No matter when you had been to this spot before, 1,000 years ago or 100,000 years ago, or if you came back to it 1,000,000 years from now, you would see some different things each time, but the scene would be generally the same. Now and then I miss the excitement about being in the cockpit of an airplane and doing new things. Society's future will depend on a continuous improvement program for the human character. And what will that future bring? I do not know, but it will be exciting. There are people I'll always love to listen to, and I'm always ending up discovering new songs by them, which is crazy. Like Stevie Wonder. We were involved in doing what many thought to be impossible, putting humans on Earth's moon. The one thing I regret was that my work required an enormous amount of my time, and a lot of travel. I thought the attractions of being an astronaut were actually, not so much the moon, but flying in a completely new medium. I am, and ever will be, a white socks, pocket protector, nerdy engineer, born under the second law of thermodynamics, steeped in steam tables, in love with free body diagrams, transformed by Laplace and propelled by compressible flow. How we use the knowledge we gain determines our progress on Earth, in space or on the moon. Your library is a storehouse for mind and spirit. Use it well. We have no proof, but if we extrapolate, based on the best information we have available to us, we have to come to the conclusion that other life probably exists out there and perhaps in many places. Every flying machine has its own unique characteristics, some good, some not so good. Pilots naturally fly the craft in such a manner as to take advantage of its good characteristics and avoid the areas where it is not so good. The one thing I regret was that my work required an enormous amount of my time, and a lot of travel. There are great ideas undiscovered, breakthroughs available to those who can remove one of truth's protective layers. There are places to go beyond belief. History will remember the 20th century for two technological developments: atomic energy and spaceflight. This blowing dust became increasingly thicker. It was very much like landing in a fast-moving ground fog. It's a strange, eerie sensation to fly a lunar landing trajectory, not difficult, but somewhat complex and unforgiving. I flew to the moon not so much to go there, but as part of developing the system that would allow it to happen. If that's there, I believe that technology will probably step up to their part of it.